I want to talk to you about something that might explain why you've been stuck, even though you've quote unquote done the work, right? You've read the self-help books. There's a stack on your bedside table. You've journaled. You've had insights, maybe through therapy. And so you understand what actually happened wasn't your fault. You know you deserve better. And yet, your body still does not feel safe. You still startle when your phone buzzes. Your chest still tightens when you hear that certain tone of voice from him. You still can't sleep well through the night. Your stomach still twists when there's conflict or the possibility of conflict. And you might be wondering, why isn't understanding the problem enough to fix it? The answer is beautifully simple, and it is profoundly important. Because trauma isn't a thought problem. Trauma actually isn't between the ears. Trauma is a body problem. And you've been trying to think your way out of it. That's why nothing has shifted yet. So let's talk about why. Your nervous system has one job. Its job is to keep you alive. And so to detect threat and to mobilize you to safety if necessary. When you were in that relationship, or when you're still in it, your nervous system was or is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's picking up on the emotional unpredictability, the criticism, the moments when you didn't know if he was going to be kind or cruel, the walking on eggshells, the constant monitoring. And so your nervous system said, so to speak, this is dangerous. I need to stay on alert. And then it did what nervous systems do. It encoded the danger. It actually programmed the danger signal into your body. It learned danger. And so it created pathways, and it rewired your baseline from I'm safe to I'm in danger unless I stay vigilant. To see that this isn't a weakness thing, this is your body being smart, actually, to survive. But here's the thing. Your nervous system doesn't live in your thinking brain. It lives in your body, literally. In your nervous system, in your gut, in your muscle memory, in the way that you hold your shoulders, in the pace of your breath, all this. The neuroscientist Bessel van der Kolk calls this the body keeps the score, and that is absolutely accurate. What he means is this: your conscious mind might, forgive someone. Your rational brain might understand why he acted that way. Oh, he had a terrible childhood, right? Your intellectual self might even convince yourself, it wasn't that bad, at least he wasn't hitting me. But your body remembers, your body knows. And your body's job is survival, not rationality. So even when your mind is saying it's okay now, your nervous system is still saying, no, we're still in danger. Stay alert, stay small, stay ready to protect yourself. That's why you can have a breakthrough in therapy and feel amazing for, 24 hours. And then something small triggers you and you're right back where you started. This is why you can logically know that you deserve better and say it and even tell your friends that and still find yourself going back. This is why you can read all the self-help books in the world and you still feel the knot in your stomach when you think about conflict or you think about the possibility of leaving. You see, your rational brain isn't actually in charge. Your body is. This is important, so I want to be really clear. Most conventional therapy is not designed and is not appropriate for trauma. And that's not a failure of therapy, and that's not a criticism of my colleagues. It's simply a mismatch between the tool and the problem. It's like trying to use a screwdriver to loosen a nut. See, talk therapy is wonderful, it's valuable. I've practiced it for decades. It helps you to understand patterns. It helps you to process emotions. It helps you to gain insight into why we do what we do. But talk therapy primarily engages your frontal cortex, your thinking brain. It's working in the domain of language and meaning making. Trauma, however, is stored in the nervous system in your body. It's stored in the amygdala, the paired parts in the center of the brain where threat is processed. It's stored in your brainstem, which is the most primitive part of your brain that controls your survival responses. And it's stored in the way your muscles hold tension, in your breath, in your startle response. And you cannot think your way out of something that wasn't created by thinking. Let me give you an example. You're in therapy and you're talking about that moment your husband criticized you in front of his friends. You're processing it, you're talking about it with your therapist, you're understanding it, your therapist is validating you, and you're having insights about how it wasn't about you, it was about his insecurity. Great. Intellectually, you get that. You really do. And you go, wow, thanks, doc, that was really helpful. But when your nervous system is in the room with your husband, which it always is, it's remembering the physical experience. It's remembering the heat in your face, the shame, the exposure, the helplessness and powerlessness, the way your heart raced, the way you couldn't find your words, you couldn't stick up for yourself, or call out your husband for not sticking up for you. And even though you're talking about it, your nervous system is still in activation. Subtly. Maybe you notice your chest is tight. Maybe your breathing is more shallow. Maybe your leg is bouncing. Maybe you're getting tearful. And then the session ends and you leave feeling better temporarily because you've processed it intellectually and you've got validation back from the therapist. However, your nervous system hasn't actually shifted. Your nervous system is still holding that memory in its kind of undigested form. It's still saying, this is unsafe, this is humiliating, this is a threat. And so next time something similar happens, or even something that reminds your nervous system of that moment, you're right back in the activation. Same fear, same shame, same sense of powerlessness. Because the body never got the memo from your brain that you've intellectually resolved it. This is why you can have 12 therapy sessions and still feel panicky when you hear his car pull into the driveway. This is why you can journal for an hour and still have a racing heart when he's upset with you. This is why you can do all of the emotional processing in the therapy office and still find yourself acting out your old patterns of apologizing and accommodating and shrinking and conforming. I want to be super clear here. It's not that you're not trying hard enough. It's that you're trying to solve a nervous system problem with a thinking brain tool. Okay, I want to reframe something for you. If you've been experiencing what you might have thought as anxiety or panic or depression or insomnia or chronic tension or digestive issues, constant fatigue, I want you to understand something. Those aren't the problems to be fixed. Those are your body talking to you. Your body is trying to tell you, I'm not safe. When you wake up at 3 a.m, your nervous system is saying, I'm afraid that something might happen. I need to stay vigilant. When you have a knot in your stomach that never goes away, your body is talking to you and saying, I believe there's a threat. I need to stay mobilized, ready to run. When you can't seem to relax, even when nothing bad is happening, your nervous system is telling you, I don't trust that we're actually safe. These aren't character flaws. These aren't signs that something is wrong with you. These are signs that something traumatic happened to you. Maybe this relationship, this marriage, or maybe something before. And your body is still busy in protection mode. And here's what's important to understand. These symptoms are actually intelligent. They're serving a purpose. Your body is trying to protect you. So what we need to do is not suppress those symptoms with medication. Although sometimes, yeah, that's a part of it, but it's not the whole answer. And not just talk about them in therapy over and over again. What we need to do is actually help your nervous system learn new information. The danger has passed. You can stand down and you're safe. And that only happens when we work with your body, when we help your nervous system literally reset, when we teach your body in a different kind of language what safety feels like, right? Not talking in words, but communicating new information to the body. Because your body's learned the language of danger so fluently that it's forgotten what safety sounds like. So what does your body actually need? First, it needs to be heard in body language, not judged, not fixed, just witnessed. When you start to notice your anxiety, your tension, your fear, instead of pushing it away or trying to breathe through it, your body needs you to say, I hear you, I'm paying attention. I understand you're trying to protect me, and thank you for your faithful service. Second, your body needs to be regulated. Your nervous system needs to learn in its own language what calm feels like in your body. Not in your mind, in your nervous system. That typically comes through sophisticated trauma recovery experiences and strategies and tools and techniques. And that's what we do in our private coaching with women. Third, your body needs context. Your nervous system needs to gradually learn that threat is no longer present. Now you're safe. You don't need to be vigilant now. Now that doesn't happen through one insight, and it doesn't happen, again, in the brain. It happens through repeated, embodied experiences of safety. We create small moments where you feel truly calm. Moments where you're not monitoring the environment. Moments where you can feel like you can breathe deeply without that tightness. And fourth, and this might be the most important, your nervous system needs to learn who you actually are separate from the trauma. Let me explain that. Right now, your identity is tangled up with the trauma response. You think you're anxious. You think you're insecure. You think you're too sensitive. And you think you need to be this hyper-alert version of yourself to survive. But that's not who you are. That's what happened to you in order for you to be able to survive. And so when your body actually feels safe, not intellectually, but in the, like literally in the cells of your body, in your nervous system, a different version of you is free to emerge. Someone more grounded, more clear, more powerful. Finally, more you than you've ever been before. This is why we created our private coaching program for women in extremely difficult relationships. Because we realized that traditional therapy, while valuable, was never designed and just not appropriate for this embodied piece, this nervous system piece. That's actually the core of why women stay stuck. In our private coaching, we're not just talking about what happened, because that doesn't help. We're working with your nervous system directly, using cutting-edge tools. We're helping your body learn what safety feels like again, and we're helping you develop what we call embodied confidence, where you're not just thinking about your boundaries, you're feeling them in your body. You're learning to trust your own signals again, to hear what your gut is telling you and honor it, to distinguish between the voice of trauma and the voice of your actual self. And then from that grounded, regulated place, we work on really the three choices that you have. You can live with this with clarity. You can leave the relationship with intention if you want. Or you can change the dynamic of the relationship from a place of real power, not desperation. We're not telling you which choice to make. We're helping you get clarity about what choice your kind of true self wants to make. You see, because you can't make a clear decision from a dysregulated nervous system. It's not possible. You can't set real boundaries from a place of fear. You can't change your life when you're in survival mode. But once your body actually feels safe, everything becomes so. Please take away, your symptoms are not a sign of weakness, they're evidence of resilience. Your body's been fighting to keep you alive. It's been doing the best it can with the resources that it had. And now it's time to teach your body something new, to show it that you're safe, to help your nervous system actually believe it. If you're really ready to work with your nervous system and not just your mind, because you've discovered talk therapy is like an endless loop, it doesn't get you anywhere. I invite you to reach out. And let's talk about how we can help your body remember and never forget what safety feels like. You've survived the hard part. Now let's help you actually thrive.